Viola motorbike from Metroid Prime 4 Beyond inspired us to create an in-depth retrospective on motorcycles in Nintendo games. Off the top of our heads, we could only think of half a dozen examples of motorcycles' appearances, but after extensive digging, this retrospective became an unexpectedly long journey through the history of Nintendo. Along the way, we've uncovered many hidden gems, bizarre facts, and little-known details that even the most hardcore Nintendo fans might have missed. So put your helmet on, hop on the back, and enjoy the ride. The first time motorcycles appeared in a Nintendo game was in 1984 with the release of Excitebike for the Famicom. Excitebike is a renowned classic. It may feel a little clunky to play nowadays, but it features surprisingly advanced mechanics for its time, such as the engine overheating system and the bike tilting control in mid-air to ensure perfect landings. Let's see some obscure motorbike-related curiosities about the game. This is a rare Japanese flyer for Excitebike, with some in real-life pictures depicting old motocross races. The biker seems to be riding a Husqvarna motorcycle, specifically the CR390 model, which was produced in the late 70s. Even though there's no record of any commercial deal between Nintendo and Honda around the time of Excitebike's release, in the Japanese key art of the game we can see a white text reading Honda on the biker's red suit, behind the handlebars. Curiously, about 40 years later, following the release of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, the Pokémon Company, which is partially owned by Nintendo, actually entered into commercial partnerships with Honda and Toyota. Honda built a unique motorbike resembling Rhydon, the legendary Pokémon that appears in Pokémon Scarlet, while Toyota produced the model in the image of Miraidon, the mascot of Pokémon Violet. In the games, the two Pokémon can be used as mounts. Miraidon in its drive mode turns into a full-fledged superbike, with its body acting as the frame and its throat and tail becoming wheels. Versus Excitebike was released for the arcades shortly after Excitebike, and 4 years later for the Famicom Disk System. Here's a cool, rarely seen flyer for the arcade version. This version features several differences from the original, such as background music during the races. And the inclusion of bonus stages in between some tracks, which required the player to jump over stacks of yellow trucks with emojis depicted on their cargo box walls. At the end of the bonus stages, there's a funny looking guy with a gold flag that looks quite happy. In 1997, Nintendo released the Excitebike Bun Bun Mario Battle Stadium, a reimagined version of Versus Excitebike for the Satellaview broadcast service on the Super Famicom, featuring characters from the Super Mario universe. It was released in 4 broadcasts. In the first one, the available characters were Mario, Luigi, Toad and Wario. In the following broadcasts, Yoshi and Peach were added at the expense of Luigi. Green and Red Koopas take part in the races too, but only as CPU-controlled characters. The gameplay is very similar to the original Excitebike, but a new super mod grants unlimited boost if the player grabs 5 coins, which can be found on the track or obtained by hitting the rivals. The bonus stage is much the same as the one in Versus Excitebike, but instead of the trucks, we must jump over stacked booze. In the new jump contest, we must jump as far as possible, with bonus points for a perfect landing. Most of the audio samples are reused from the Japanese version of Mario Kart 64, but the sprite animations are unique and very cool, especially the ones for getting back on the motorbike after crashing. Let's see all of them. A year after Excitebike, in 1985, Nintendo published Mach Rider, a vehicular combat racing game developed by HAL Laboratory and set in a post-apocalyptic world reminiscent of the Mad Max series. With its high-speed death races in a futuristic context, Mach Rider can be seen as a precursor to the F-Zero series, even considering that the main character's design is quite similar to Captain Falcon. In this old Q&A in the original Super Smash Bros. Website, answering a fan's question, Sakurai-san revealed that his favorite character in the game was Captain Falcon, and joked about including Mach Rider in the sequel, which was referred to as Smash 2 at the time. In Super Smash Bros. Melee, released on the GameCube in 2001, Mach Rider didn't make the cut as a playable character, but he appeared as a trophy. Mach Rider is also referenced in the Mario Kart series, one of the motorcycles in Mario Kart Wii, which introduced the bikes to the franchise, is called Mach Bike. Even in the latest installment in the series, Mario Kart World, there's a bike called Mach Rocket. Here's a curiosity. In Mach Rider, we could say that Nintendo pulled a Metroid before Metroid was even a thing. In the arcade version, as we complete each race, an image gradually forms like a puzzle, and ultimately a mysterious female character is revealed. Some think she's Mach Rider unmasked, but it's far more likely that she's a survivor from one of the cities overrun by evil forces. However, the ambiguity regarding Mach Rider's identity is still fueled by some posters published in an old Japanese magazine called High Score, illustrated by Yasuo Torai and colored by artist Yasuhiro Kagami. In this one, we can see a woman wearing a biker outfit and a Mach bike in the background. The writing on the helmet reads Yuko. Who could she possibly be? Speaking of Yasuhiro Kagami, he created illustrations for several video games in the 80s and 90s, and also for a light novel set in an alternate F-Zero universe titled F-Zero Sushite Speedo no Kamie, which can be roughly translated as F-Zero and then to the Gods of Speed. Curiously, on page 121, there's an illustration of Swan Lee, the protagonist and supposed successor to Captain Falcon, and Taime, the sister of one of his friends, riding on a motorcycle called Kawasaki M. In F-Zero GX for the GameCube, in the Pilot Profiles menu, there are short movies for each character. Mari Gazelle is the cyborg that rides the Red Gazelle, and in his bizarre full-motion video we can see him transforming into a scooter. Since we mentioned scooters, the scooter in Super Mario Odyssey immediately comes to mind. Found in New Donk City in the Metro Kingdom, this vehicle is modeled after the iconic Italian scooter called Vespa, Produced since 1946 in Pontedera, located near Pisa in the Toscana region. A similar Vespa can be found in the Animal Crossing series too. In New Horizons, it's part of the furniture inside Roswell's house. If we interact with it, we can turn its lights on and off. In Odyssey, during the motor scooter escape sequence, Mario is chased by a T-Rex in a spectacular set piece, but as unique as this situation may seem, it is not the first time something like this has happened in a Nintendo game. In WarioWare Twisted for the Game Boy Advance, Mona delivers pizzas for a pizzeria called Mona Pizza, and while riding on her scooter, she's attacked by the employees of a rival pizzeria, Pizza Dinosaur, who bring out a T-Rex to chase her down. In the same game, among the souvenirs, there is a music box in the shape of Mona delivering pizzas on her scooter. Mona also appears in the original WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro games, and in many other instances in the series. Her scooter is equipped with Mona's pets, little animals that she keeps in the storage box and deploys when she needs help. Across the WarioWare games, Wario very often appears riding his Wario Bike, and there are several mini-games involving motorcycles and scooters. Here's a montage showcasing some of them. Contrary to popular belief, Wario on a motorcycle didn't debut in the WarioWare franchise. Actually, the very first time he was ever seen riding a bike dates back to 1994, as the protagonist of Wario Blast featuring Bomberman for the Game Boy. The moto is unlocked at the end of World 5, and allows Wario and Bomberman to jump over single unbreakable blocks. Motorbikes also appear during the ending sequence, in which Wario and Bomberman comically chase each other. Did you know that the concept of a sequence of rapid-fire mini-games of the WarioWare series originated directly from Mario artist Polygon Studio for the Nintendo 64 DD? The mode called Sound Bomber is virtually identical to the introduction stage of the original WarioWare. Mario artist Polygon Studio is a 3D modeling program. Among the basic assets there are the models of Mario, a Koopa Troopa and Yoshi from Super Mario 64. And, you guessed it, there's a motorbike too. There's also a selection of pre-made creations, including a motorcycle similar to a chopper. Players can even put it in an urban context. Speaking of the Nintendo 64, Excitebike 64 was released back in 2000. It is known for the complexity of its controls and physics. Timed turbo bursts, mid-air tweaks, sharp drifts, weight and momentum form a system that's brutally hard to master, but rewarding after hours of training. The special Excite 3D event is a 3D remake of the original Excitebike for the NES. With the press of a button, we can also play with a classic 2D camera perspective. The Master Cycle Zero was introduced in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with the second DLC pack, the Champion's Ballad. With smooth drift and jumps, it allows Link to navigate the environment in a super stylish way. The headlight cuts through the dark of the night, and while sprinting, the motorcycle can be dismounted and shot forward like a projectile. Also, did you know that early in development the Master Cycle Zero was supposed to have a wolf-like design? In the Pulse of the Ancients DLC for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, the Master Cycle Zero can be used by Princess Zelda as a weapon. In this cute cutscene, we can see Link teaching Zelda how to use it. Link, the Master Cycle Zero and the standard Master Cycle also appear in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and we chose the Excitebike Arena to showcase them, of course. In Xenoblade Chronicles X, Blade members with a special license are allowed to pilot the Skells, customizable mechs that are able to transform into vehicles. For example, the Formula model is a lightweight Skell that turns into an armored motorcycle. Let's admire it in full detail in first-person view. In Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there are some enemies called Familion Sovereigns that resemble futuristic motorcycles with human-like cyborgs attached on top of them. This is a concept art from the official artbook. The Viola Neurobike is the motorcycle driven by Samus in the recently released Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It's mainly used to quickly traverse Soul Valley, a vast desert acting as a hub that's been harshly criticized for undermining the typical organic, interconnected world building of the Metroid franchise. By scanning the Samus and Viola amiibo and traveling some distance, 7 alternative skins for the Le Mans motorbike can be unlocked. Let's take a quick look at each one of them. Before we end today's retrospective, here's a quick overview of other random secondary appearances of motorcycles throughout the history of Nintendo. In Yoshi's Woolly World for the Nintendo Wii U, Yoshi can transform into a bike in a few levels. In Advance Wars Days of Ruin for the Nintendo DS, motorbikes with sidecars are introduced as ground forces. The Nintendo Labo Variety Kit 1 features the Toy-Con motorbike, including a racing game controlled with a set of handlebars that can be played in first or third person. Excitebike is referenced in a lot of Nintendo games. The biker appears as a trophy in Smash Bros. Melee, and in Smash Bros. Brawl as an assist trophy. In Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, the trophy has a different design. It's a direct reference to Excitebike World Rally, a sequel of Excitebike released as a WarioWare title for the Nintendo Wii. Finally, in Super Mario Maker, a mystery mushroom turns Mario into an Excitebiker. In this version, the biker has a few unique animation frames, such as the one for braking. Here's a short but sweet course that we designed to showcase it.